Hey, happy campers, Todd here, Great American RV SuperStores, and today we're going to walk through how to use our leveling system for LCI. This is one with our standard rectangular keypad LED display. We'll go over the operation of that. This one in particular is electric leveling jacks. The process is pretty much the same on hydraulics as long as you have this keypad. So we can see our electronic leveling system right here made by Lippard. If we kick it on, we can see on our main display right here, we're going to have our battery voltage. Whenever we hit our arrows, it brings us to our auto hitch height. Our auto hitch height is used after we have been camping. Basically, this will bring us back to the point that the trailer was at whenever we disconnected from our hitch on the truck, so you don't have to guess what level it needs to be at. If you want to use that feature, you just hit enter and it will begin to extend those jacks out and put it at the height that it was in before you went into that auto level. Our next one is Auto Retract All. We would go to that once we are hooked up to the truck. We can hit enter and it will retract all of our jacks. Now you should definitely double check your fifth wheel hitch and ensure that you are locked in before you do this, because once you pull away, all the weight and everything relies on that fifth wheel hitch at that point. So be sure you're locked in good before you hit that Auto Retract All. Our next one is Auto Retract Rear. If we want to just bring up the rear jacks and leave the front landing jacks down, we can go through that. And our last one is Manual Level. Manual Level is if we wanted to go in, hit enter, and we can see right here we have our degree marks. Now 0 is our ultimate goal. That would mean that we're level. We would use these functions right here to raise those jacks. You'll have orange lights that pop up in the corners to let you know that those are indicating the areas where it is low. So if this blinking light on the left hand side is orange, then that means that our left side is low. Same thing on the right, front, and rear. So we would just raise that until that light goes out, and eventually once we hit that 0 mark, our green light in the middle will indicate that we are leveled out. If we need to retract those jacks, we'll just hold down that retract button for just a second. Our red light will come on indicating retract, and we can hit those buttons again and it will retract those jacks. Now front will run front, rear will run rear, and then if we want to do left or right, it will do those left or right jacks. To take off that retract, you just hold that button down for a second and it will go back. Now auto retract will once again retract everything. And our next one, it shows us our stroke on our jacks. So the LF and RF, that's left front and right front. So this is the amount that those jacks are extended out. And they only have so much stroke on them depending on what jacks they are. So if we stroke out, we run out of jack, you will get an error letting you know out of stroke. And that means that we need to put some blocks or get on a more level area that it doesn't have any more jack left to level that system, and it will stop the auto level. Same thing, left rear, right rear for our jacks. Also on this system, right whenever you turn it on, you can get your voltage display on there. And if you want to just operate your front landing gears, you just got to the campground, you're trying to disconnect from your truck, you don't have to go into that manual mode. You can go straight into operation by hitting those front jacks right there, and that will operate the landing gears in the front. Same thing if you want to retract them, hold down that retract for a second, and then it will operate once again just the front landing gears. From that point, you go into your auto level and allow the unit to level out. Now I want to make sure that we're not moving around in the unit while it is auto leveling. It'll take a few minutes to hit that auto level point. Once it says it's complete, then you're free to go ahead and open up your doors and get inside the unit and start setting everything up. Now in the event that you run auto level and you've done it several times and your unit just isn't leveling out properly, it might have to do with the 0 on that system. 0 meaning the level, right? Just like we talked about earlier as far as in our manual level, when we hit that, what our actual level point is. So what we want to do is we turn our system off And we can hit front and rear 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we can see we're now in our 0-point calibration. Now I know I'm going to hear people say you only have to hit it 5 times for electric and 10 times for hydraulic. I always tell people just 10 because it's the easiest way to remember which is which, right? Eventually you'll hit into this 0 point. And what we want to do now is we want to manually level out our unit. Want to get a 4-foot level, put it on the inside of our unit, and operate these jacks until that 4-foot level shows us that we are level left to right and front to back. Once it is done, we hit enter, and then we can reset our 0-point calibration. It'll go through a stability check. Once again, we don't want to move around, jump around, or anything like that. Whenever it's done, it'll beep, say success, and now you have just made a new 0 point for your system. If you have to keep changing that 0 point, resetting it, then you want to bring it into a shop, let it get looked at. That way we can see what's going on. There may be an issue with the leveling sensor in the rear, or it might have came loose. Now you do have a Bluetooth option on here. You'll find that sticker that you need with the QR code or the password and stuff right here. If not, I'll show you in the front compartment where it is. But if you scan this QR code right here, this will bring you to the App Store, and that will give you the app whether you have an Android or Apple, and it will give you the app that you need to download for that Lippert system. I will notice here we're in our front compartment, and we have our main computer system for that auto level, and we can see on the side we have those QR codes as well as the password. We download that app, and we're going to have to put in information like our VIN number and stuff like that, and then it's going to ask to scan the QR code or enter the password and device name. And when we do that, that will connect us to that app and the app to that system and allow us to be able to control some of those features from our phone. You want to always make sure that you have at least 5 to 6 holes showing on this pin right here. So whenever you extend those legs out, you stop at like the 6th or 7th pin and lock that in. If we don't do that, we're not allowing the leg to have enough length to extend out and level out your camper, and that could cause an out of stroke error. So make sure we're showing at least 5 to 6 pins on there. Don't just leave your jacks all the way up and then hit auto level. It's not going to work out good. So that's on that. We also want to go ahead and lubricate this every so often. The portion that is actually extending out of the square tubing. Same thing on our rear jacks. Hit it with some silicone spray, wipe it down, and make sure we're keeping it clean of any debris. This is one of our main boards on here. This board is going to be where all of our jacks are controlled. You'll see them labeled left front, left rear, right front, right rear. We can go here if we have any issues with those jacks and make sure that these fuses aren't blown. These are large 30 amp max fuses. So that little control center that we have with the push button pad, all that's going to come here. We have our main 12-volt wiring right here, a red and black wire that goes over to our battery system and pulls from there. We are going to have an inline fuse on that system, so you can check that and make sure that that's not blown as well. Make sure we have a good 12 volts going to it. If we don't have a good 12 volts for our jack system, then this is not going to operate right. You're going to start getting some wacky errors and all kind of stuff. Lippert stresses that you need a good 12-volt system, either a good battery or you're plugged in and that battery is charging in order for this to operate properly. So if you're starting to get some crazy errors, check your battery voltage first. Hopefully this information helped you out and you have a better understanding of how that system works and what maintenance we need to do. If you have any other questions or anything, you can leave them down there in the comments section. More than happy to answer those questions. If you have ideas for other videos, leave those comments too. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us, that way you don't miss the next HAPS Helpful Hack here at Great American RV Superstores, where we bring the how-to to you.